So I watched Cocaine Bear last night, and oh boy, was that movie something, man. So first and foremost, man, RIP to Ray Liotta. He was the whole reason that I wanted to watch that movie. He is a top 20 actor for me all time, I think. If I'm being realistic, I don't want to sit here and go, oh, he's top 5, because I don't think he is, but top 20, man, it's one of my favorites, man. I love Ray Liotta. So RIP to Ray Liotta. That was his final project. Cocaine Bear is based on a true story about 175-pound American black bear. That's not a very big black bear if you think about it. That overdosed on cocaine in 1985. The cocaine had been dropped by drug smugglers in the wilderness in Tennessee. The bear was found dead in northern Georgia and was stuffed and displayed at a mall in Kentucky. The true story is almost as strange as the fictional one. This movie was directed by Elizabeth Banks. You best know her from like probably Zack and Miri. I heard horror stories about this woman actually, that she's really tough to work with, but this movie was great, man. It had a pretty solid cast. It had Ray Liotta, it had Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Christopher Hajju. You remember him from, I believe he was the redhead-faced fella from Game of Thrones, one of the wildlings. Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family, I believe is what show he was on. You know, a couple other people that you'll recognize from other things. Margot Martindale, who plays many roles, pretty much the same role in every movie, kind of. And also Isaiah Whitlock Jr. You all know him as the guy that says she. You know? No? Anyways, the movie's great. It clocks in at about 95 minutes, including credits. There are some scenes in the credits you may want to stick around. It's got a couple of feel-good moments, a couple of really funny action parts, a lot of I'd say pretty violent action sequences in the movie. There's some pretty coarse language. There's a lot of characters that you won't see coming that you're going to really appreciate. My favorite characters in the whole movie are probably the blonde-haired fellow with the mini mullet and the male EMS guy are the two characters that I enjoyed the most on screen. This one is, like I said, it's pretty embellished. The bear in this one's like 500 pounds versus 175. That's a pretty substantial difference. But it starts off with a bang. It's pretty hilarious. It gets going pretty quick. There's not a whole lot of, fluff in this movie. It's mostly the meat and potatoes. There's not a lot of time to get bored in it. And it's an action-packed adventure story mixed with a Jurassic Park style giant predator chasing people around storyline mixed in. It was a good time, man. I mean, the acting was overall pretty solid. The cinematography was overall pretty solid, but the music in this movie was great, man. I had a great time with the music in the film. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say about this without spoiling everything. And it's kind of like the story is tried and true. You know what's going to happen in this movie. The question is, do you want to go and watch that happen? I had a great time, and at 95 minutes, I think it's a blast. I would hate for this movie to be, 2 hours and 7 minutes or something like that. That would be entirely too long for a movie like this. When you're doing something like world building, okay, you need a little bit more time. But when you're just jumping into a storyline, and it's one as bombastic as this, one that's as crazy as this, I'll tell you, man, I had a great time, dude. I am high on Cocaine Bear, bro. I tell you, I give Cocaine Bear an 8.5 out of 10, dude. I thought it was a fantastic time. They knew what they had. They did what they were supposed to with it. They didn't try to be something they weren't. I think that's fantastic. I think that this whole entire cast probably had a great time making this movie. And they didn't really create a storyline that needs a sequel. So I like a standalone solid flick. So 8.5 out of 10 for me. I urge you to go see this movie and get higher, baby. Go check out Cocaine in theaters now. All right, man, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next horror hangout.